everybody. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, hi. Yes.
Hello. It's like a reunion of old
All
friends.
friends, yes.
Lovely to see you both.
Love to see you all.
I'm just going to give a minute for everybody to join. There's a couple of people still joining now. Okay.
How are you doing, in summer? You're very well and looking really good.
Yeah,
So,
enjoying summer. A bit busy with a little bit of study of Ayurveda, which makes it very nice as well.
so I just want to formally say welcome because it's a reunion of old friends, but also a lot of new friends. We're about to start the new level 1 and level 2 courses at the Institute. And so there's a lot of new friends. So I'd like to welcome you all as well to this session, which is the Association of Ayurvedic Professionals. This is a series of public online lectures that we give, or talks, I should say, on subjects that are really interesting from an Ayurvedic perspective. And this is the 5th in the series this year. So there'll be a lot more coming. But today's event is really about mental disorder. I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Deepika Rodrigo for those who haven't yet formally met her. But my name is Ajanta Kaza. I'm the General Secretary of the Association, and I probably have spoken to new students, probably all of you, hopefully. Well, welcome, and we want you to use the chat facility for questions. So what we'll do is we'll have Dr. Deepika will give a talk for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then there'll be plenty of time for questions. So use the chat facility to ask questions. And actually what we would prefer when we get to the questions point is you raise your hand and you ask the question directly. That's really nice for us to interface and have that connection with you. So feel free when we get to that stage. But next, I should introduce you to Dr. Deepika Rodrigo. I think you're all familiar with her. She is the principal physician at the Ayurvedic Clinic and the main teacher of the Ayurveda Institute UK, and she is the chairwoman of the Association of Ayurvedic Professionals. And today's talk is something that she's I think, very close to your heart as well,
Yes.
because it's a big feature of treatment from an Ayurvedic perspective, and particularly in the climate we're in at the moment, mental disorder, how it manifests, why it manifests, and really from a very practical viewpoint, how do we actually prevent it progressing? And I think this is sort of advice that is really needed today. So hopefully you'll have a lot of questions and get a lot of insight from this talk. So I'll hand it over to Dr. Deepika.
What we're going to say today, what you're going to explain is about how people getting mental illness and what can we do about it. But first we have to know about, what the explanation Ayurveda gives to a mental disorder. Okay, I go to the PowerPoint now.
New technology.
I'm technologically bonkers. We have this one recently installed. I thought, oh my God, I can do everything else, but I can't do the technology, And anyway, here we are, And yes, according to Ayurveda, the terms for the mental disorder is called Unmada. Unmada. When you come to this kind of terms, it is written in Sanskrit. The Sanskrit language tells you all about, in that one word, it tells you all about how mental disorders manifest. And un mean that the Sanskrit word comes with the roots, and root ut mean the elevated or overflowing or the extreme. Mana mean the mind, and mind overflows of the mind. Mind goes, uncontrollable, and overflow the mind is called Unmada, you know. And then if somebody said in Sanskrit term to somebody, you got Unmada, they just like that is understand what happened in their body or the mind is their thoughts, or the process of thoughts is going uncontrollable. It's called Unmada. And when you're going to the when you come to the mana means this mind, and the mind is like when you talking to people in Western world, mind mean the mental issues, mental component, whatever the brain, but in Ayurvedically or in Sanskrit terms, is mana mean is not a, a brain or mental issues or mental component. It's like far more than that is explained by the manas. Manas is the consciousness. Consciousness. If somebody asks where's the consciousness, it is in the heart, or it is in the mind, or it is in the body. And the Ayurveda says is mind, the consciousness is in all of the component, body, mind, and the consciousness is whole thing together is called the manas, and you can see in Sanskrit term is a human being, the term for the human being, manushya. Manushya mean, mana, ushya mean the high consciousness. The person who with the high consciousness we call manushya, or the human being. I don't know about the English term, but when you come to the English term, you can see the man. It comes with the mana, man. Man mean who with the consciousness, high consciousness. And when you come to human, I don't know, this is your language, not mine. Human mean, it's like a man exists with a higher consciousness. Human person who exists with a higher consciousness is the called human being, And what different between the animal and us is this mana, consciousness. When you go to the chakra level, like the more advanced students, and more lower chakra, the Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura is for the animal level. And then Anahat, heart, throat, mind is for the human. And then after mind and the, Ajna chakra for the person who has enlightened. And like that, what we define as a human, how far we have elevated our consciousness. Some people stuck in a very lower level, and that called inhumane, animal level. Or some people is go beyond the human level. We call it the God or the enlightened souls or something like that. And then when you come into the why the human being gets sick, like we have a super kind of very intelligent system, installed with the body, mind, and consciousness. But when you come into the, the human existence, and people getting sick, our machine somewhere is going wrong. And where the machine is going wrong? The hardware or software? And normally, it's a Western world is more focused on hardware, not software, not mind. It's all about the body. They're going to treat from the antibiotic and then, anti-inflammatory and steroid to the body. But Ayurveda never focused on the body because they knew where the disorder is manifesting. It's from the software. If you have a phone, you can change the cover, you can change everything, but you have to go to software to change something you wanted to change in a phone. And like that, is when you're thinking about why we are getting sick, and the Eastern philosophy always focus about the mind, not very much in the body. And in Western world or the Eastern philosophy, they're saying 95% of the disorders exist in the world is psychosomatic, psychological disorders, psychological effect is disturb the physiological body. That's what is the every diseases exist. For example, we will say digestive tract disorder. If you focus about IBS or something like it, the Crohn's, colitis, ulcerative colitis, whatever you say, cancer, anything, and you can see the causative factors. But when you come to the Western world, they don't focus about the causative factors that much. They just going to eliminate the what happened to the outside body. But Ayurveda is saying, when you really ask a Western doctor, they know IBS associated with stress. IBS associated with bad food. IBS associated with sometimes is drinking. IBS associated with lifestyle, some choices you make. And that means you can't really put the causative factor away and thinking about the disorder. And why this important is, the Ayurveda says, doesn't matter you give IBS as some kind of steroid or anti-inflammatory, antibiotic or anything, it doesn't work that much unless you deal with these causative factors. And how one can deal with the causative factors? Because they need to have high consciousness, and so many times, people like to go and have one tablet and, like pop in the tablets and see, I'm okay. But it is curing the problem? No, because then person has to think about, what should I do? Where I go after I taken that tablet, what happened to my gut? And this is all about the consciousness, all about how we think to having less stress, less worrying, having a good food, and less drinking, make a good lifestyle choices is depend on how conscious I am, how conscious that person is. Then they make a choices. And that's why is like Ayurveda says, mental component is the important thing to look at, not physical body. And come to the even you say, loads of person has been highly conscious and then making all the good choices about lifestyle, and still people getting sick. Sometimes you can see some people dying from some kind of cancer. Then you can say, oh, that person had a really good life and really nice lifestyle and not lots of stress, but still that person had cancer. Why they had the cancer? And then we call this a karma vyadi. The body we are with the body to our karma to be, exist. The body is the vehicle, and we have to go the journey. And then the karma vyadi mean is like whatever we coming out from that, coming into the world with that, I'm not going to talk about that because it's too deep. I'm just going to stop in here. And then karma vyadi mean, the Ayurveda says, is people can get it to evolve their soul journey. For example, somebody can get a, like somebody can be born in a blind, you know, and then that person can say, oh, I'm blind, I just can't do anything, I'm just going to depress all my life. Or somebody can see, how do I come out from that? How could I use my third eye to see other people what they can't see? And they can be the biggest and happiest and the most, successful person in the world. And this is up to their evolvement in their soul level. And that means, you can't, in Ayurveda, karma vyadi, you can't blame on it. We have to rise above it and understand and rise above it, karma. And then when you come to the spiritual masters, Buddha says, Sarve Prutagjana eva unmattaka. Sarve Prutagjana eva unmattaka. That means every human being living in this planet suffers from mental disorder. You and me, including every of us, that I can see, if you enter to your mind just now, this minute, how many thoughts is overflowing in your mind? So how many thoughts is disturbing your mind? How many thoughts is want to jump out from your mind? And that means if somebody says your mind how it works, it is like it's not sanity in there. Always something going on and on and on. And then this is why the Buddha says, Sarve Prutagjana eva unmattaka. Everybody in this planet exists with some kind of mental disorder. And this Buddha said, not me, this is NHS what they said. NHS, like your statistics when you go there, one in 4 adults experience mental disorders in a life, and 1 in 10 children. And that means a huge amount of people is existing with the mental illness, and you can see time like this is so bad for the new generation, children, teenagers, and not as like that, like adult and the, other older people as well. But mostly when you see this isolation and then, abnormal or normal or whatever you say, that's behavior we have whole planet, it change us as well. And that means you can see more than ever before, mental disorders are rise up in the world, because, these people don't know how to deal with their mentality, because, there's all the spiritual masters, is Buddha, Allah, Jesus, or anybody who talk about how the mind works and how can you create sanity of the mind, has been, kick out from the world very rapidly, last few years, few decades. And people are so much poo-poo about, the Christianity, religion, or any of the religious, like beliefs. But yes, I know the religion itself is not the true thing, but the teaching, the teaching of Jesus, teaching of the Buddha, teaching of the Allah, teaching of the Sufism. And it is so much wealth in there to, keep, how to keep our mind sanity, and how to keep our, if it is a little bit mentally unstable, and how we can use that teaching to stabilize our mind. But at the moment, we are in a very much pickle, you know, because we don't know where to start now, because that whole thing has gone far away from us. And then people have to go back to the basics and thinking and stay still and think a little bit where we go wrong, what, where is our intuition, you know, because in Ayurveda says, you know, the manas mean is not you go and learn from the school, you know. The intelligence is not you go and learn from the school. Intelligence is is installed in our hardware, software, and we have to dig it up and see what is the intuition is, you know, what is right and what is wrong. And to do that, you have to have a slow in your mind. You have to, you have to make sure you have a steady, some kind of walk with your mind, okay? And then we go to the, you know, in Ayurveda, you know, we say Ayurvedically, you know, when we treat into the patients, main focus, I said to you, is mind. And when you go to Western medicine, its main focus is the body, you know, like how to get the body sorted. You know, like if you have some kind of food poisoning or something like that, or some fever, bad fever, they give antibiotic to killing the bacteria. But in Ayurveda, it's not that. Ayurveda asks why you get sick. You know, what is the conscious thought, what unconscious thought you made to get you sick? And you go somewhere down the road shop, and this food is a little bit smelly, and think, oh, that's okay. I can cope with that. And this is where the thoughts come from, your mind. And you go, we call it a prajna aparadha, crime against the wisdom with you, and you giving your, like, okay, I'll be all right. But that cause you the problem. And then antibiotic is, yeah, you can sort it out at that certain time, certain problem. But consciously, you have to get the message. Next time, I should be aware of it. What I eating, how I eating, otherwise I end up with like this. And antibiotic is not the answer. Answer is choices we made, you know, and that is what we call Ayurveda is focusing about, the mind, not the body. And that's when you go to the Ayurvedic term to treatment, it's called Chikitsa. Chikitsa, chit and kitsa. Chit mean in another term of the mind. Chit is the heart. You know, this is like if you think about the chit, the term chit, and you know, you might have known the, you know, Satchitananda, you know, Satchit Ananda, you know, Satchit Ananda, you know, in the Buddhist, the Bhagavad Gita, Buddhist philosophy, they call that. And when chit mean is what in your heart, you know, then, you know, Chikitsa mean, kit mean entering to your heart. And that is the Ayurveda treatment, you know, poke into your heart, poke into your consciousness, enter into your heart, enter into your wisdom, enter into what you're bothering. And that is called Chikitsa. It's how beautiful that word is it? You know, because not thinking about the what bacteria is causing you the problem. No. Tell me what is in your heart. Do you suffering? Are you suffering? And what you're suffering from? Can you tell me the cause of the suffering? And that is Ayurveda's Chikitsa. And that's why Ayurvedic doctor has a much more connection with the patient, you know, because if you are a good Ayurvedic doctor, you poke the patient's heart with your thumb. And that poke is forever staying with the patient. And that means they will never going to forget you. because that's is we call Chikitsa. Okay. And um, the main emphasis on Ayurveda is eliminating the, the disorders from the body and the mind. And we have to talk about how and why we doing that, how we doing that. And then before we go to treat the patient, we have to find the normality of the mind. You know, you and me can be normal, but what is the normal? And somebody who has depression or bipolar, because they're not normal, then they say, are you normal? And then we can say somebody who is panicking a little bit, or he's always panicky, he's always under pressure. This whole thing is very relevant to who you see the person. For me, if I have a calm mind or some stable mind, I can see other people's mind like, oh, too difficult, too going crazy, to ADHD, to bipolar, like kind of thing, I can judge. But whom I am to judge others? Because my mind also crazy too, and I'm in a less crazy place than them. That's what the Buddha said. Everybody existed in this world is suffering from some kind of mental disorder. And um, and if you think somebody is like normal, you know and it's that means as long as the thinking process does not cause unbearable suffering. That means, what is this unbearable suffering mean? Unbearable suffering mean, then normal person has bearable suffering. You see, you and me has a bearable suffering. We all suffering, but our suffering is, we can bear it. And as long as you bear your suffering, you stay as normal person. If somebody can feel like this thinking, the process of, the thinking process is giving me so much pain, psychologically, physiologically, and I can't bear that, and that is called like abnormal or the suffering. As long as the suffering we can cope with and we can bear it, we can get normal state of mind. And then the how we manifest the mental disorders. And this is very, very important thing to you to understand. When we manifest the mental disorder, like when you and me, we see in each other's brain, and we can see, you're fine, I'm fine. But if you see more than 1 minute, you think, oh, you are crazy, because you have thousands of you know loads of thinking, and you're talking to me, you're thinking about, oh, what I'm going to have a dinner tonight, oh, my child, what he is doing in the kitchen, and oh, I'm opening the thing, and I'm taking the cup and drinking the water. This all thinking process is going on in your head. Sometimes you don't even think, you you listening to this, and then you take your mug and and drinking the tea. Where these thoughts come from? You have to give that thinking thought process to your karma, like your body, to drink the water. But you don't think, but it's happening. you know you're just shaking your legs, and when you listen to me, you have to give that demand to your leg. Shake the leg, but it's happening. And that means, without even knowing you, how many things going in your mind, you know and then somebody see that, think, oh my god, that person bloody crazy, I can't go near that person. Why? Because so much, her mind is so crazy. And that's how minds are. That is the normality. you know The normality means so many things you do, so many things, thinking process is going, and you deal with it with knowing or without knowing, and this is called normal state of mind. But one time it comes like this normal state of mind is kind of unbearable. Like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't feel anything. I don't feel this, somebody laughing to some kind of somebody's joke. I can't get it, or I can't feel the joy, or somebody is crying for some suffering. I can't feel this, like what's wrong with me, and I don't feel like some you know happiness or sadness, or I can't feel like I feel like I'm crazy, I'm feel like I'm too much panicking, I'm feel like I have to prepare for things, and this kind of thing is bothering you too much, and that is the first stage of the mental illness. And it is causing you problems as kind of OCD, anxiety, and depression. OCD mean not that knowing. OCD is like people do very secretively, is it? They go and wash their hands, they go put the bed spread nicely and arrange these things, and the OCD people have some kind of form of some routine, and they do very quietly, and but nobody think they have OCD. Nobody think they have a depression, but the person knowing that I'm not okay. When when you go to doctors in that point, what they doing? They give antidepressant. Antidepressant mean what is it? Push that feeling down, down and down, and the you will take antidepressant for 5 months, and you might feel better because it's pushing down too much. It is okay, and then you can't push down that much because it's a thinking process. It's still happening somewhere. The root cause is still there, and that means it's a little bit overflowing again. Again, you go to the doctors, and what doctors do? Make the dose a little bit bigger dose, and then you take the high dose of antidepressant, and then what happened? It's okay. And after that, it's like endless tablets, endless medicine. You have to put it to the give it to the patient because you're not dealing with the root cause, and nobody asks you why you're feeling like that. What's the problem with you? Do you have any thing going on in your life? Anything? What you eating? How you doing in your life? And this whole thing is causing you this mind process, the process of mind to be getting abnormal. And in this stage, I explain, the system of channel, like you have to think from the heart, you have to get it to the brain, you have to do something. For example, I'm writing, okay? I have to think from, oh, I have to write a poem, thinking about that. And then I'm thinking what to write, and I'm writing from the hand. And that means this thing is, constantly happening in our body, with knowing or without knowing, that's impulses going, and we are doing this, like activities. But sometimes, because it's like too much we're thinking, that along that channel, this thinking is not processing well. It's like clogged. It's like muddle. It's double. It feel like it's a too much in this channel. That's what is called antidepressant, OCD, ADHD. Everything is people try to rise above it. Some person is like, I can't deal with that. Get out. I'm not happy at all, and that is depression. Somebody is like, I had to override it, I'm doing too much, I had to think too much, and thinking and thinking, and that's called anxiety. And then somebody is like focusing some other things instead of this one, is get away from that, and then OCD. And like that, people doing some things to just to get away from this this feeling of clogged throat, the channel, you know, and then that is the first stage of mental disorder. Okay, and then this stage, people is still aware of, the awareness is there. I'm going crazy. I'm depressed. I'm having too much thinking. I feel like too many, the little bit anxious and these kind of thing. Person knows that. If you're suffering from that kind of illness, you knew that, you aware, you're conscious about it, but you don't know what to do. And that is the first stage. And then coming to the second stage, and you know the second stage, this mental arm is forming, because now not doing anything, this unprocessed thoughts is still there with you all the time. You don't, for example, if somebody, a close friend died or something like that, you just feel sad, you don't talk about it, you wanted to put some man buried it, and you're not talking, you're not dealing with that, and it is like bothering and bothering, and then top of that some other thinking is coming on, and that is called the emotions, unprocessed emotion, you know and then overthinking and contaminated. Oh, just I'm not talking about that, it is due to the bad food, and this whole thing is we call formation of mental armor. These are the one is clogged in a channel. Shrotas mean my heart to brain to activity. This all the thoughts are clogging up, and this is cause you problem in the first place. And then coming to the second stage, that pathway or channel is like so much suffering, so much congestion, and what happen is it's going to overflow. It's like a gutter. You put too much like rubbish, then some one day it kind of going to be overflow, and this is what happen in the mental disorders. And then that mental armor or the processed thoughts, or thought process is going to overflow, and it is like at that point the person knows, the person doesn't know what I'm doing, because this unprocessed thoughts has no control. And then it is coming on, singing, dancing, and doing something, and unappropriate talking, the getting angry, getting killing somebody, behaving badly. This kind of thing is coming on like flow. People can't, the person can't control it. And at that point, this person's awareness and the consciousness all gone. They don't aware they have a mental disorder. But other people can see that person, oh, that person has some weird, that person is talking to somebody, like without anybody, this person talking, why he's talking, the person talking nonsense, and why she's singing in a like inappropriate way in this place, like that. You can see the behavioral changes of that person, but the person who is subjected to that, they don't understand what they're doing. And that call is the second part of the mental disorder, is called schizophrenia, or bipolar, dementia, psychosis. This kind of big kind of mental illnesses comes in the second stage. And second stage, what they're doing, what in Western medication, what they're doing is they give more zombie medicine, and then they sectioned them, you see, and they go in, they lock them up. Because why? The physical behavior of the patient can danger to themselves and dangers to others. And in that case, what they're doing is they lock them up. and they give more drugs. And is going to sort it out anything? They address anything beyond that point? And that is mean mental disorders in Western world hasn't have any, kind of treatment. Like the lot of psychiatrists who come in to see us are saying, they normally treating for the patients the little amount of knowledge they have with the meditation, mindfulness, and yoga. And that's more work than this medicine and the looking up the patient. And you can see that where the mental disorder is, how the mental disorder is manifest. This is that the mental armor, this the armor we, like unprocessed thoughts, what we have to expel or alleviate from our system. Otherwise, there is no cure. And then we have to give the answers or the education to them how to aware of this, what make you sick, what make you mental ill, and let them have some kind of you know um, some kind of discipline, how to look after yourself. And this is the Ayurveda stand for in mental disorders. Okay, and then we talk about a little bit mano vaha shrotas, little bit. Mano vaha shrotas. Mano mean again the mental, mano, mana again. Man, mana, mano. This all in a mental. Okay, vaha mean circulating. Shrotas mean channel system. The channel of the mental uh, energy is running through. That is called manovaha shrotas. And when I ask you, where your thinking process, where do you thinking from? Your heart or your brain? Do you have any idea where you thinking from?
Definitely from the heart. It's important to go there, to that place. It's amazing what we can do.
Yeah, that's this but like you are in here, but like normal person in a normal circumstances, we taking them and ask them, where are you thinking from? The lot of people saying is thinking from the brain, thinking from the brain, like, oh, whatever the head, I'm thinking my head, people say, I'm catching my brain. I'm doing this with my brain. I'm doing with my brain. And then a lot of people think this mind or this thinking process is happening from here, But if suddenly somebody say your very much loved one is had some accident, what you say, what you say, what you're doing is like that. You keep your hand to your heart because where the sadness, sorrow, anger, frustration, love, everything come from here. That is your intuition. From here. You're not saying like some people say like that, more in a head. But most of the normal people is saying, yes, oh my God, the, you just keep your hand to your heart and think, or say something. And that means all the feeling is coming from your heart, and it is going to the brain, and it is going to your the sensory organs to motor organs, and you say, you know you say, I love you, okay, and then you're thinking of from your brain, and it's coming like, I had to give a kiss to my husband or my lover, and then you just have that physical engagement with that, and that is the karma. Or you said, I love somebody, and you say, I love you, and it's like you think and you talking from your, talk to your partner like I love you, and then you give a kiss, and that means this whole component is working. Your heart, your the mind, and your karma. Like whatever uh, the, the motor organs, and this how the Manovashrotas is working, and where the trunk or the Mano arm can um, disturb, the clogging is normally is loads of Mano arm is clogging to heart to brain. Why heart to brain? Why heart to brain? Because so many people, what you say, thinking about the heart is not going to be your intuition. You kill. You know. If for example, if you have different um, opinion about the vaccination, oh, just in case other person will see me as a mad person, I'm not telling. Where it's like your heart, your mind, you're not talking about it, and it is clogged in your brain, in your that area. And if you have fight with somebody, or if you have some kind of argument, just in case you don't say, something you should say, and it is clogging up in this place. And anyway, you can deal with different way, but instead of dealing with different way, philosophical, you can apply the philosophy and deal with, and that's what is Ayurvedic treatment is. I'm not going to talk about now, and I'm not going to talk about now, but this thinking process happen like that way. Most the blockage is coming from the heart to brain, and that's what is the problems like um, depression, starting from the depression. Depression mean what it is. You can't think what is good or bad. You can't think what is right or wrong. You can't think what is sadness or happiness. And that means, this here to there, they're saying, I have too much now. Can you please, this your software saying, can you please erase whatever the thing you had that? And you think, no, I don't erase. I will install another compartment for a time being, another compartment. And that means the brain has no capacity to store any more, thinking, or any more, rubbish you have already, and then what at that point is coming like your 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 depression or your anxiety or schizophrenia or whatever the mental illness you have going to show from this too much thinking, too much talking, and or too much screaming, shouting, arguing, fighting, these all things like that. And physically you hating somebody, you hating to somebody, and you just jumping around, you running, and this is because according to that you're going to have that actions from your mind, body, and that means this whole thing is mess. And where we start the treatment then, we start the treatment from here, like Western medicine. Do you think it's successful? Yeah, the mentally somebody who suffering like enormously, you think, oh, don't suffer. Is it work? No, because you can tell how many times a depression person, don't get depressed, man. And people say, how do you tell me how? They can't do this. And if somebody is too much you know, talking and too much fighting, arguing, and then you're saying, don't do that. And here we go, the tablet, don't do that. But you can't start the treatment from there. And that is what we going wrong in Western medicine. We start in solving problem from there. Antidepressant, antibiotic, anti-inflammatory, whatever thing, anti-schizophrenia tablet and this, that, and they giving left, right, and center to the patient. But it's actually you have to treat this. Ayurveda says this is the way to treat the patient. Chikitsa, poke into their heart, enter into their heart, and ask how you are. And with that, we can eliminate the behavior, imbalanced behavior from here. Okay? And until that, you understand what I'm saying. If you understand, can you stand up? And otherwise, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And and the Ayurveda, according to Ayurveda, new people and old people and the practitioners, they have physical constitution called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And the mental, we call three guna, is called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. To for the physical body, you might know by now how the Vata Pitta Kapha works and what are the constitutions and what are the sign and symptoms of Vata Pitta Kapha people and the disorders and stuff like that. And same as the mental constitution. Mental constitution and physical constitution has no connection in between that. Okay, the mental constitution is a different kind of guna. So the attribute exists in the mind and is called sattva, rajas, and tamas. Normally, qualities of mind, consciousness called sattva, rajas, tamas, and sattvic quality. Sattvic quality means the positive or good qualities of the mind: love, compassion, calmness, and awareness, the meditative qualities. And that kind of qualities is the called sattvic quality. And when mind is in a bliss, and always these qualities arise in the body. The qualities you bring into your body and mind is make you bliss or shanti, we call, and when sattva quality is aggravating, and then you feel like you are in a blissful state of the mind. And this then you have to say the rajasic quality. What are the rajasic quality? Rajasic quality mean like kind of pitta associated quality sometimes, like the restless, like a little bit of agitation, aggravation, anger, frustration, selfishness, self-centered. That kind of quality is called rajas quality. Okay, and then like then tamas quality. When you come into tamas quality, it's the darkness of the mind or the heaviness of the mind. It's like lethargic and can't lift it up, sleepy, negative form of, everything seen, everything in a life negative, like that kind of quality is called tamasic quality. And you can see this rajasic quality and tamasic quality. Sorry. Rajasic quality and tamasic quality has disturbed the mind to achievement of the bliss, and sattvic quality you have to promote within yourself, and rajasic and tamasic quality you have to reduce, and that means you are in a blissful stage. And when you're thinking about how do we achieve to that stage, like sattvic quality. And these are the main hindrance to not to achieve to the sattvic quality. You know, we call moha, raga, dvesha. Moha means illusion, or, like indulgence, illusion. Like you see in the this 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 whole thing is like like Maya, we call, and you stuck in like different kind of stage, like everything is, kind of, we call as the pink glasses than see, everything is nice, everything, but it's a solution, because suffering is there. I said to you, even though you have very good life, tomorrow or today, this ceiling can fall off to me and I can be die, you know, dead in a 1 minute. And then illusion, we think we are not going to die. The illusion is that we stuck in that kind of world, like everything is going to super nice around me. And then that's the COVID is the wake up call to the people, you know. Nobody thought airport going to be closed for 1 day. Now we happen, what is it, 2 years is closed. This illusion we have is everything going to stay as it is. But is every spiritual teaching is saying everything is changing to the minute in a life. Even you changing, in front of everything is changing. But you are not going to believe it. And you're just going to think like this nice life I have at the moment is going to stay like that forever. The illusion. And then more you trust the illusion, more you're going to fall off very, very down. Because why? You put in, if you stay in a mat in a floor, you don't fall off to the ground because you're already in the ground. But if you are in a 7-story building, you fall off, you will break your leg and you will kill yourself. And that has happened when you're not understanding the illusion, the Maya. Everything is the unchangeable world, unchangeable everything you're going to think about. It will stay as I want it to. But you have to understand this will never stay as I want it to. This is changeable. I had to adapt into the change. That is the moha we call, and then second one is called raga. Raga means the greed. Illusion make you greed. You see, to me to stay like that, I need to consume a lot of things. Raga, I need to, the me to have a super picture of other person made. I need to have a husband, I need to have children, I need to have a car, I need to have a, like a nice lifestyle, I need to have good food, I had to go out and I have to blah, blah, blah. And that means it's a greed coming. Illusion is make you more greedy. And then dvesha. If it is not happening, if it is happening to somebody else like that, I have seen hatred. Why can't I get that? Why can't I not be in there? Why can't I have everything? Other person has everything. And then hatred starting. These are the hindrance of the mind to not to achieve the sattvic quality. But as you see the illusion, if you conquer the illusion, you won't go there. Because why? This is the Maya. This is the projection of some kind of persons, this is the good for me. This is the good for the world. This is good for, and it is not my projection. It is somebody projected you as this is. You have to have an air-conditioned room. You have to have a nice sofa. You have to have a nice TV. You have to have a husband. You have to have this, that. And then this projection you're taking very nicely. And that what, tightly. And that what happened, it's not. It's like if you understand that more and more, these things are what for? Greed, what for? Do you have Ferrari car or the, bicycle? If you want to go 2 miles, it doesn't matter. Your aim is to go to here and there. Which vehicle you use, it doesn't matter very much. The thing is, you don't. You think it's like, because greedy, hatred, and this whole thing is combined together. But if you a little bit knows about illusion, the Maya, this is like you can feel like less and less for less and less attached to thing and less and less hatred to other thing. Because you know if somebody has got a big house or car, and next time you can see like that person has cancer, what's the point of the big car and that much of money, like a Steve Jobs, you know you know hold the world, hold the money in the world, can't save him. And then illusion is thing, if you have a lot, you can stay as it is. I can stay super. I have no suffering. I have no exposed to the disease or anything like that. But this is illusion, and this is the hindrance to achieve the sattvic quality of the mind. And then we go into the Nidan, Ayurvedic way. They said the causative factors for the mental disorders. And first thing, believe it or not, first thing they said is a food. Food. Do you think is the food anything to do with the mental illness? You have to see the ADHD child and what they eat. Then you can see the food. The mom saying, oh, he has like ice cream and he hit the roof. Oh, don't you know that? The more high sugar content is making your activity so high and rapid, and there is obvious truth in there. But if you tell doctor, oh, no, it's not that, but this is the most important thing I rather talk about. The diet you consume is making you what you think, and that is the first thing to think about. Incompatible food. Incompatible mean, there's so many food together people eating, like when I see the Golden Ramsay or something, the Jamie Oliver cooking food, like they have fat, they have milk, they have this, they have that, and I think, how on earth this person going to digest this stuff in your in your tummy? Because the doctor who give less medicine is the good doctor. Person who cook with the less ingredient is the best cook. You don't have to forget it. That from my quote, Doctor who give the less medicine or take out all the medicine from your head is the good doctor. Person who cook with the less ingredient is a good meal, is the good cook. And that is the truth about food as well. You have to learn to combine the good ingredients together, make a good meal. And we lost the touch with the whole our cooking process, because a lot of people are eating. Some people don't know what is the difference between microwave and the cooker. A lot of patients comes to see me and they don't know the difference between them, because they use all the time microwave, and this is how we are transformed from ourselves to the kind of animals now, because we just heated food and eat it, not just thinking about what is the component, what's you putting it, and how do you making it, what are the spices you're going to eat, and how do we digest it, and after that I'm going to toilet well, and I'm sleeping well, and these kind of thing associated with the food, and people have no idea now. And the contaminated food, that's what I say. Contaminated food mean a lot of things are now in your eating is 100 years in a freezer, and then next minute in your plate, and that's what you're eating. You go into super posh restaurants, and so many years, like some things in a freezer, and next minute in your plate, and with a lot of sauces and unnecessary thing. And then the contamination of the contaminated food is give you some bad reaction to your brain. And unwholesome food mean, like, you know all the nasty food, like, you know the people eating the animals alive, and the frogs and this and that, this kind of unwholesome food, that kind of thing also give a terrible problem to the digestive, the um, mental illnesses. And horrible taste, smelly food, and normally some people use it. And the second thing they say, disrespect for the universal truth. What is it that? It's like go against your intuition. Where your the universal truth installed? In your heart. Your intuition is your universal truth. It's truth with you and me and everybody in the planet. And then you can poke into your heart, you can get truth out of it, but you won't believe it because the society wouldn't want you to believe it. And that means the disrespectful for the universal truth, the God, gurus, parents, and nature. Why this category? They're all telling the truth about things. you know God I mean, universal energy, and the gurus, parents, and nature. This all tell you the truth, you know and that truth, about you know there some people say parent doesn't say the truth, but they keep you 9 months in a tummy and give you the flesh and blood and everything to you, and that sense is the truth. This is the otherwise you won't be here to go your journey like this. And that manner, in that case, you have to respect your parents. Whatever they have done, it doesn't matter. They occupy their womb, you to have your journey, to enter to here, to your karma to eliminate from the planet, whatever the journey you go. And that respect, you have to respect the parents, and that a lot of people saying to me, like this, oh, because of my mom, because of my dad, this happened, that happened. But it's like, who else give you the chance to come here? One people, both your parents. And that sense, you can respect your parents, and constant fight with a strong nature, or strong forces and strong people. And this is constant fight mean, what is it? Competition with everything, like who doing best, who doing that, and I had to do better, I had to do best, I had to do this. Is whole thing is giving you more like hatred, more anxiousness, more anxiety to you, rather than you do your best. You do your best. Don't look at others. You do your best. And I always said to myself, I don't look at anybody what they're doing. I don't bother, because what I have, nobody can steal. What they have, I don't want it. And that means problem sorted, you see. And then if you have that certainty about yourself, what I have, nobody can take it. What they want, I don't want it. And problem sorted, you know. And that is, you don't have fight. You don't have to have fight with anybody else, and that means you have complete sanity in your mind, because you don't have to fight against anything else. And being broken hearted, and that is like a lot of people suffer from mental illnesses in there, because of the heart is the seat of the ojas. And then sudden, some kind of really somebody passing away, or some people fall out from the love, and this kind of thing is cause you a lot of problem to the ojas level in the heart, and that can make you feel mentally ill. And and then Ayurveda says, why we eat, how we eat, according to that, we can have mental illness. Actually, when we have thinking about why we eat, to think, nothing else. You think, oh, because of the delicious food, because of this, it's all frills, you know, there's, you know, and a lot of people saying about when the COVID, the COVID happened, one of those symptoms coming like they can't have the taste or smell. And whatever tastier food they eating, what for? Then that is very good understanding. What for? And just because I don't think I can't, if I have to eat to my thinking process going. Thinking process is the one is giving you the motor process, like what I said, that other chakra, other thing. You eat, your gut energy is given to somewhere the mental energy is giving you the physical energy. And you think without thinking you can't do the physical the uh, uh, the functions. And that means everybody here, what we're doing is we eating for thinking. And then 90% of your what you're eating is goes straight down to the toilet. 10% is the one absorbs, you know and actually why we eating, and why we eating. And that's question is always coming to your mind. And um, and why we eating to think. And if you have the good food, then you can have a good ojas. The good ojas make you tamasic quality down, sattvic quality down, rajasic quality down, and sattvic quality up. you know and if you want to create more sattvic quality, you have to have good food. Good food produce good ojas. And then we have to think about what are the good food. The the Ayurveda says in like create a good ojas level in the body, you have to eat the sattvic food. What are the sattvic food? Sattvic food mean this like any grains, and for example, the dead meat or dead carcass or dead something, and then some kind of uh, beans. What are the difference between that beans? So there's both protein, beans, and when you think about the soya beans or something, and chicken. And what are the different? Which one is the sattvic food? Is definitely is the beans. But beans still hold the power of prana because it can produce another life. But dead carcass, you can't. The minute the chicken died and they go in decay and the prana is reducing. And then beans and kind of grains, they hold in the prana. The prana, they put it in the soil, again the plant is growing. And the plant give you another thousands of beans. And that means this is called a pranic energy. The prana is holding that kind of food. And you have to identify that kind of food. I gave you the fundamental. You can identify why is called pranic food, why is called the dead food. And pranic food has much more prana to your body, or the sattvic quality to your body. Okay, I will stop there because otherwise it's a big chapter, otherwise I had to talk about. And then we are talking about type of Unmada. In Ayurveda, they talk about type of insanity, or the mental illness. And it is 5 different mental illnesses they talk about. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Sannipataja, and Bhutaja. Okay, I'm talking about these 4 only. I'm not talking about that. And Vata kind of insanity, normally, the Vata person, Vata people are normally is like to fly, all the time, you know. And then Unmada mean fly off the handle, it's gone. That mean singing, dancing, making, unnecessary talk, and the the wearing different clothes, and like a hippie going mad hippie. And like that is Vata kind of people, because it's a Vata, Unmada mean Vata kind of their energy going overflow. Vata persons not going to be other doshas in balance first. Every dosha, there are more prominent dosha is going to be the imbalance first, and that means here is the same. Vata Unmada means Vata overflowing, and that means, you can see that person is harmless but joyful to watch. It's like a drama. Daylight drama again. And then this is Vata person. And Pitta Unmada is the Pitta is overflowing. What are the Pitta is overflowing? Angry, hatred, chasing somebody, shouting, and wanted to kill somebody, wanted to, abuse somebody, and, screaming, um, getting really red and sweaty. And this kind of thing is like the Pitta Unmada. And Pitta Unmada, or Pitta kind of mental disorders, is hard to, like not to cure, but, it is hard to go near them. And same time, uh, it is like danger to themselves and dangers to others, and it's quite dangerous. And this one is hilarious, this one is dangerous. And third one is like kapha symptoms overflow. Kapha peoples is normally have greed, attachment, and love. This is overflow, and that means greed. They're eating too much, sleeping too much, very lethargic, and the phlegm, dribbling, and then coughing, and this kind of thing. And the pervert kind of thing. They're hugging, kissing, and giving to love everybody, and that is the kapha kind of unmada. And sannipada means tridosha involving. This one is the hard to cure kind of place. And then Bhutaja mean, like is some kind of supernatural kind of thing. I'm not going to talk about it very much. And then state of mind of the mentally ill person is, according to Charaka Samhita, they explain, unable to identify sadness or happiness, unable to identify good or bad, sadness or happiness, or good or bad. How can one achieve the state of peacefulness of your mind? That's what Charaka Samhita is saying about the state of the Unmada person. Okay. And then treatment. Treatment, Ayurveda says, this is also Charaka Samhita, you have to focus on koshta, gut, shrirsha, head, and hridaya, heart. These are the three components we're thinking about to treat the patient. Gut, koshta, giving the good food, and same times cleanse the gut by vomiting, purgating, and um, enema, that kind, koshta clearance. And then shirsha means head, shirodhara, chirovasti, shiro abhyanga means head massage, head treatment, and shirodhara, the oil pour into the head, and chirovasti, and make some, oil to stay, in some kind of form of Ayurvedic treatment, we call shirovasti. And then sheets. And heart treatment. Heart treatment is cleansed by the evolving, or cleansed by the talking to people, or making their heart cleansed by the meditation, that's so form of, sorry, I'm just going to last. And how to cleanse the heart is, for the qualities, you have the bad qualities in the mind like kama, shoka, bhaya, krodha, harsha, like indulgence, sadness, fear, hatred, excessive happiness, jealousy, and greed. And identify this one, like heart cleanse, how you do that. Identify. For example, we call jealousy. Identify what is jealousy. What is jealousy? Jealousy is you like something you don't have but other person have. Because of that you jealous the other person, because what you don't have that person have. And then because the jealous start from, because I like that thing so much, whatever she got. If you if you understand that, let go of it. For example, diamond. If I some my friend has a diamond, I don't. If I like the diamond, I'm jealous of that person having a diamond ring. But if I don't like the diamond ring, she can have a bath with the diamond. Does it bother me? No. And that means understand where the jealousies come from. Why you liking this much diamond? Is your imbalance somewhere? And then sort it out. That's that. And then how people have thousand millions with them, you don't feel like you have any jealous kind of feeling with that kind of things. And like that, understand the indulgence, sadness, why sad, why fear, and then you rise above it and go to other side. And that is called heart treatment. Okay. And yes, that is the mental illness. And I hope you had quite nice understanding about the mental illness. And now, anybody have questions? We have half an hour left to answer your question. And I think Ajanta had to go, and that means you had to hands up and ask me the question this forum. Do you have any questions?
Dr. Deepika? Hi.
Yes.
Yes, this
yes.
is Elena.
Elena, yes. Hello, how are you, Elena? Nice
Great.
to see you.
Yes, doing great. Thank you. Thank you. It was amazing, this talk. Wonderful. I had some cases of mental disorders. Actually, I think in my first year of practice, I had somebody who was to the point of suicidal. Maybe you remember. And how to work with those at our level when the mind is not that conscious, even working on opposite qualities and sort of talking. Yeah. At that time, I really limited my commitment with that person. Yeah. But and I didn't want to use herbs. Yeah. But how would you treat with somebody who has some suicidal thoughts?
Yeah. And one thing, like person has to be suicidal in the karmic way. Don't worry about too much on your, work with that person. Okay. Because, sometimes that is happening. Somebody can suicide under your treatment. Somebody can go and suicide. And that means it's not your problem, or you do, it's not, I'm not saying your problem. It is not, you can prevent from that. Karmically, if they had to do, nobody can prevent that. Okay. And that is, you have to keep in your mind first. Okay. And second thing is, how could we understand what happened to them and how we going to sort this one out. But one thing at a time, small steps. First one is the gut, cleansing the gut. Give a right food and taking out whatever the Rajasic, Tamasic food and move into the Sattvic food. And it is like, and through the process, you can talk about these qualities of Sattva. And then, like, don't touch too much bigger, like treatment process yet. But from this, you can really change a lot about the thinking process. Then when you thinking process changing, then you can go to the, again, don't talk about this all the high thing, like how to do the how to not to hate people and love people, nothing. You go to the second level is like cleanse the body, you know, giving some Agni Deepana, Amapachana, and some enema, some Shirodhara, this kind of thing. And then you can say the patient is, you know, open enough to receive your um, advice. And at that point, you can talk about illusion first. Nothing going to stay as you think. Even your body is changing every day. Every day, thousands of cells shedding, thousands cells are coming, and like nothing can stay as it is. And from that base, you can start talk, and then they will understand. You will understand in the beginning your life, and you can go to their life and give so much advice on how to come out from the mental disorder. It works 100%, I know. Okay. Okay, Elena, thank you. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And somebody, other one, HD. Yes. Hello. Your camera is off. Hello. Hi, Pooja. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
Hi, I wanted to find out, what about postnatal depression?
Postnatal depression is something, like, again, you can't connect with your child. That is the postnatal depression. The love you bubbling in your heart, you can't connect with the child. And that means something is in your heart again,
Yeah.
You see, like, it's not your child. It's not, the patient who comes to us, postnatal depression, they feel like so much anxiety and so much, heartache, like I can't connect with how I wanted to with that child. It's my child, why I don't feel like that? And that is like your heart has a lot of rubbish. First cleanse your heart. Don't talk about, go to love the patient, the child. First, you got to be, calm down. We say calm down. Give milk to your child is the first thing you can feel like your connection is coming. Like we always saying to the breastfeeding mothers with the postnatal depression, no matter what, try hard to give breast milk. Try too much, like, because that is the, connection is forming, because the ojas is still, because the ojas is the one you connection, you see, you connect with your child, mean your ojas you're giving to the child. And then, suddenly the baby coming from the tummy, and then the connection, the physical connection is lost, but the mother and child has physical connection still remaining with the giving the milk, and physical connection there. And that means a lot of women in here stop breastfeeding can experience the postnatal depression, because there aren't any organization to push the women to encourage the breastfeeding and encourage the stay in with the breastfeeding at least 8 months, and then again, if that breastfeeding time, if they have so much other things going on, like so many, like the problems with the husbands, problem with the housework, problem with not look after your, the mother very well, and there's nobody to make your food, and that means the mother can overwhelmed with the
situation.
This is the work they had to do, and plus the child is crying all the time, then you have to, somebody encourage me to give them breast milk, I don't know what to do. This whole kind of thing is overwhelmed the mother, and that means you got to be calm down and thinking about, okay, I can make a soup for 5 days, don't worry about it, and keep it in the fridge, some simple meal, and eat very well, and drink milk, cow's milk or something to yourself, and give the milk to your child, and other things, your house can be mess and your husband is starving, they can stay like that. You make the connection with your child first with breastfeeding, and I think it's really superbly working with the postnatal depression.
Okay.
Okay.
Start with the heart first to get the milk.
Yeah. Get the milk, and then when you give the ojas like that, and then child and you, because it's a ojas is another thing, is the eyes, when you're feeding the child, you have to look at the child eyes. Ojas, some ojas is staying in your eyes, in the biggest ojas in your body, and that's what is eye contact with the child is very important in a first 3 months of child life, because this ojas is exchanging from the mother to child, child to mother, and that relationship sustain as is beautiful as ever when you make that connection in the beginning, and it's whole lot of another another story about the breastfeeding.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Anybody else?
Doctor, I have a question. It has to do with, hello, doctor. My concern has to do with, as a practitioner, to develop the practitioner's practice. So the practitioner developing himself in a way that when he's interfacing with the patient, namely with the mental disorder, that we can listen. So these developing skills to listen to the patient, to be the empathy towards the patient, not to be judgmental. Yeah. So could you talk a little bit about that from the perspective of building your practice and preparing yourself to enter into the consultation with such a patient?
Yeah. And first thing is, we both mad entering there. As a practitioner, as a patient, we both mad, and that is the base. That means there is no judgmental, because I am mad too, you mad too, and that means we have unbearable. I have bearable madness, you have unbearable madness, and that means we are equal. We have no judgmental. What happened to you today can happen to me tomorrow, and that means there is no judgmental in there. And the same time, like the base on empathy comes from that level. This is what happened to you today can happen to me tomorrow. Whatever experience you had in your life, your child can be suicide, your blah blah blah, your somebody taken their own life, and somebody anything, somebody has cancer, this kind of things can shake patient's life. And then this is not only to the patient, it's to me as well next day. And that means we have, based on that, I have so much empathy for the patient in that base, because I feel like you and me, there's no difference. This unfortunately has happened to you today. It doesn't mean like it not happen to me tomorrow or now, and that base, and you can have a big, the empathy you have is real. And it is really, you feel like I am with you all the way through you getting better. And that is I think my experience, from my experience, that is the base you have to stay in when you're treating to the mentally ill patients. Never ever think about these people are, mad, or these people are different than you, and this me all equal. Somehow this person's meant this process gone haywire, and then that's the way I think you have to look at it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And anybody else?
I've got one. Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Caroline here.
Hi, Caroline.
Well, hi there. I'm not a practitioner or anything, so I feel slightly out of my depth here. I'm sort of I just so I've noticed that it takes a lot of hard work to remain in balance.
Yeah.
And I'm quite good at doing that, but it is extreme, and especially during this pandemic. You know, lockdown 1, 2 was fine. Lockdown 3, I thought, oh, this is getting a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that if I get listless, that's when everything gets out of kilter. I need to get a stimulation, a mental stimulation,
Yeah.
quite high, but the emotional stimulation has got to be low. And if I get that wrong, I get a bit listless, and then I start eating badly. Can you tell me what's sort of going on? I know I'm a vata, and I know I'm a pitta. And if that thing gets out of balance, then it's not helpful.
And I think if you explain about the pitta and vata struggle in your life, you know, and then the vata wanted to little bit, you know, be happy and, you know, just you know, is some kind of routine, you know, and a pitta is like just saying to you that routine is not happening, you know, not happening, and that means you're going to anxious about, you know, this vata and pitta is pushing you to get that, you know, the balance right. But you know, the thing is, again, it's coming to the illusion again, you know, like what you really conquer the illusion, the everything is not saying how I want it to, you know. And then if like a prayer, you have to say, you know, like, is everything is changing according to that change. I had to adapted my mind, you know. And then again, first thing is turn off the uh, you know, TV, and it is given a lot of rubbish to you to be anxious, you know, all the time. Pandemic this, pandemic that, you know, lockdown this one, this, and you're going to believe all the things they say, but there is no truth about that sometimes, you know. And then the story they made up according to they wanted to. And then you can see, like, I am okay at the moment, around me people okay, people are suffering more than me, and that means as I had to grateful to what I have at the moment. And then again, you can see like a diet, you know, most if you can go to the kind of less indulgence food, or you know, like more sattvic quality food, you know, like more grains, and then a soup, and the seasonal food, and then less tomatoes, less dry food, and it is like make your gut a little bit calmer, you know. And that your energies, overflow energies, come into the gut and starting to work, you know. And that means both ways you can work. One is a mind way, and this other way is a gut, you know. Keep it to good, you know, like wholesome food, you know. um, if you can't do that, you know, like you can make like a batch kind of thing, you know, making the food, and keep it for 2-3 days somewhere and eat it like that. And then think about when you're eating, I'm hungry, or I'm eating for pleasure, or I'm hungry for boredom, and then keep thinking a little bit. And that means it's like a bit you know, sorry, uh, you can stay in a little bit balanced, because you are not a practitioner and things like that. I can't technically give you much more advice on that, you know. Sorry about that. Okay, are you happy with my answer?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing the right thing, but it's hard work, isn't it? Nothing stays the same.
Yeah, nothing stayed the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. And anybody else had any question?
Hello, Dr. Deepika. It's Kay.
Hello, Kay.
Hi.
Hi, Kay. After a long time.
Yes, it's true. Oh, sorry, I seem to thing with Christine. Sorry, Christine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, don't worry. I'll just wait in the queue.
Okay, Christine. Thank you. Yeah. Can I go back to your slide with the loop?
Yeah.
And about the armor going from the heart to the brain.
Yeah.
Now, can then armor come back on that loop to the heart from the brain to the heart and cause heart disease or something like that, say tachycardia or
absolutely
arrhythmia.
right. Yes, absolutely right. That's
So,
what people dying, you know.
So so do we then follow the same process as you've been saying, or do we look at the other part first?
This you know what you're saying, the overflowing armor can cause you heart disease and cholesterol and this kind of problem. And it's correct, because why they, for example, somebody, you know, you very much loved one, somebody died, somebody can be heart attack and die. And because this like the sadness or some kind of biggest shock they have, they can't tolerate, and it is affected to their heart, and they can have a heart attack. And that is an obvious way what you explained to me. That is the obvious way to we can look at it, is it?
Yeah, with the stress as well.
Well, yes.
Or it's continuing like the loop.
Yeah. Okay. And then this can cause you problem, you know, heart attack and this. Then what we have to say, how can we eliminate that unprocessed thoughts? And that's what is coming to the Shirodhara. The oil pouring to the third eye, and you know, stimulate lot of you know, emotions. Some people, when we do the Shirodhara here, you know, they're like crying, like you know, like sometimes my husband or somebody listen to that, what you doing in there is strangle a patient or something like that, because they are that much of screaming. Why? Because
it's releasing the unhealthy emotions.
Emotions. And then Ayurveda always saying, not the other way. We have to take from this way, you know, not redirect it to the heart, but you can take the loop this way out, you know. And that means meditation is like that, is it? When you do meditation, and then there's making a big room for your unprocessed thoughts to process, you know. And that was meditation help, you know. And then because the mind is clogged up, no room at all, then meditation may not thinking overly, but you can't not think, but you know, at least you give 1 hour to calm down, relax, you know. And at that point, some kind of unprocessed thoughts can, you know, taken out from your loop, you know, armor, you know. And that's what Ayurveda treatment is focused on, just to how to drag these unnecessary things out of your system. Otherwise it can redirect it to other way and have your fuse kind of going within 1 minute, you know, it's so all blow up, you know, kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And then other way is like very, and other thing is like you can redirect that energy to the gut again, good food, you know. And then that means, you know, that's what it's all about, you know. When you're hungry, really hungry, if you not having food, what happen? Your mind getting crazy, you see. You know, like, oh my God, some people saying, oh my God, I'm hungry, I will kill somebody if I stay another 5 minutes. Why is that? Because it's like, you know, anger, the frustration. Then you can give the food and the redirect energy to the gut. And that way also we can redirect our energy to the gut, you know, and giving a good food and sattvic quality food, and then Shirodhara and the Shiro Abhyanga, head massage. And this whole thing is prevent from happening this kind of big heart attack and other kind of disorder.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Okay, can I?
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Dr. Deepika. Thank you so much for your time and your sharing of your wisdom today. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's around the last thing that you were talking about in the talk about how to cleanse the heart.
Yeah.
And that may have been misunderstanding, but for instance, when you talked about jealousy, and I thought you were saying like it's good, like be able to discard the jealousy, don't have the jealousy, and then you'd be okay.
Yeah.
And that felt a little bit like saying to someone, don't be depressed, you know, and then you'd be okay.
Yeah. But in here, we understand why we jealous, the understand how we jealous about, why we jealous about, because you like that one so much, you know. Why would you like that much, so much? And that means, you know, you have to question rather than not disregard it, you know, like a jealousy, where it's come from.
So you're raising your awareness of how come you feel this way.
Yes, and the diamond, what is going to do to me, you know, and that kind of thing, you know, like not like you questioning about why I so much like in that, you know.
Yes, okay.
But that's not like
it's
don't
not,
like it. Why I like that one.
Okay, it's not saying just don't. It's saying look at this, let's explore that a bit more, kind of confront yourself in a way.
Yes.
Like if I can confront myself, why am I feeling this way? What is my feeling all about? Do you think there's something in this cleansing of the heart as well about being awake to the opportunities we might be given in life to learn the lessons?
Yes. In for example, if you say, if you give me example, then I can.
Okay, so it's really hard to verbalize, but if we can be awake enough to see the opportunities we're given to learn a lesson. So for instance, if I've had some suffering around the jealousy, then can I open myself enough to learn the lesson from the experience I'm having or have had? Does that make sense?
That is make sense, you know, because that is the karma vyadi, you know, like if you know, for example, somebody has a children, I don't have children, you know, and then you can be more jealous about why I don't have children, why that person deserve to have children, because she is not even a good mother, or can be a very good mother, I don't have children. But doesn't the life, the karmically, is give you that burden on you to understand the children or without children, I have to be understand why I'm not going to have having children is the karmically is the way it is, you know. And then you have to learn to love that person or this person or other people's children as equal, and that is the karmic lesson, you know. Then you know, there's, if you get the lesson right, the teaching right, lesson right, learn the lesson, and be away from your karma to your soul journey, you know.
And it's a process, really, isn't it? This is a process.
Process, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? We can ask another one or two questions. Hello. Alison, you are so quiet. You don't have any problems.
Hello. No problems. I think I could just sit with this last slide for quite some time, actually. I really like it. And I'm just wondering your thoughts on when you reflect on any one of those qualities there, and if that was your whole life lesson, you know, your entire life has been considering any one of those, I feel if you neutralize that, does it always lead to an opening of the heart, and it brings you back to love, doesn't it, ultimately?
Yes, of course. It's ojas. What you're saying in the Ayurvedic way, you're stimulating your ojas, love. You know, all the things, the opposite direction is we call prema. Prema means universal love. If you can make other person, other things and everything, and love as it is, and obey the nature, and then, you love everybody, everything, it's like your ojas is creating such a good ojas. And then this is mentally, you can be free from this kind of feeling, the rajas and, tamas quality, and your sattvic quality is like, creating within you. And I think, yes, that's what Jesus said. Love thy neighbor or somebody. See, like kind of Jesus Christ said, love the other person. If you want to love me, you love the neighbor, love the other, and then this is the spiritual teaching, and then that's what it is, I can say. I'm not the Jesus, but I am the same. I stand for him.
It's kind of liberating, I suppose, to think, though, no matter which or any combination of these you ever feel in any moment, that any one of them can bring you great liberation in a moment. Get it differently. I just wonder as well, actually, your thoughts, especially, I suppose, I hate to keep going back to post-COVID, but a lot of people experience isolation in different ways now, and that sort of friction between expectation and of what they wanted their life to look like and how it now is. And it brings about a lot of mental, or has brought a lot of mental anguish for a lot of people. And actually, I have someone at the moment that I'm connecting with, and they feel very isolated. And they are a very empathic person, and actually they deeply connect with so many people that they're with. And I just I would just wonder about that mental conversation that person's having internally, and how, I suppose, again, it's the gut, isn't it? It's the best place to start.
And I think Alison, what happened is like we exclude the spiritual pillar from the first root chakra. You see, like survival, and you eat food to survive, you procreate, you have sex, and the third pillar is, your spirituality. And then when you disconnect the one pillar, like spirituality, you have food and sex, that you eat the food or the, indulgence, and the other thing, procreation. And your life is move around that for such a long time, in this world. And suddenly is people think, what the heck going on? This is like, we can extinct from the planet just like that. We can't cope with that. And what is the answer is, put back the spiritual pillar back to your lives. And that is the only answer, I think. Then they would understand what we're here for. And we can come and go within 5 minutes. The 100 years is not 5 million years. We're here for 100 years. And be happy and be healthy and be conscious in that 100 years, And you can go in a hearse, but you can't take your purse within your hearse, you see. That's simple.
That's very good. Some lovely closing statements there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Similarly, Dr. Deepika, my mother used to say, there are no pockets in shrouds.
Okay.
It's like you can't take your purse in the hearse, isn't it? It's the same thing.
Yes, that's the thing is, people have to understand now more and more, because people think, that Sri Lanka is so bad at the moment. People are dying left, right, and center. And then this is the way it is, Yeah. And we finished now. And I think, any more questions now? Okay. Thank you very much to listen to me. And I think, you can go back to your lecture again, and you can listen to it if you wanted to. And so much I put in one lecture to you to understand, and because there is 3-4 levels of people here, practitioners, patients, and then some new comers, and then new students, and the more senior practitioners. And I think hopefully this lesson has impact on your brain for a while, and do best with your loved ones and with your patients to help them in this difficult time. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deepika.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.